俺、今、どんな顔してる？泣いています。
And monster made me fall in love with the series. The first one was of course the beginning of the series and the setup of the mystery in which Johan and Anna disappear. Although the pacing of the show is quite slow, especially in the beginning, I continued to watch the show as I was quite intrigued to figure out the truth. The second one was the arc which focuses on Johan, and where we as an audience see how he operates and learn how threatening and dangerous he actually is. This made me realize that Johan is not your normal antagonist, as he's somewhat grounded in reality, which made me all the more terrified. The last one, however, was not at first connected with Johan, but actually came with the introduction of Wolfgang Grimmer, one of my favorite characters in the show, to be honest. He kind of changed the stakes in the anime, and the plot drastically pushed forward as soon as he entered the story. He offered something to the story that was not present until then. To this point, you were pretty aware as a watcher which one of the characters were either good or evil. Some of course are pretty morally grey, but you still understood their role in the story and where they stood on the moral spectrum. Yet, when Grimmer entered the story, I was really suspicious of him. He always smiled in such a way that seemed quite evil, you know what I mean? Like, look at this smile. This man is hiding something, right? And this really confused me somehow because he was doing some pretty nice things, but the show also made it quite clear that something is wrong with this man. But after I finished the anime, Grimmer actually became one of my favorite characters since he raised one more essential question to the story. Johan and Tenma represented two opposing sides to the question if all human lives are equal. Grimmer, however, forced the watcher to reconsider themselves and what makes them humane, more specifically what makes one human. Similar to Johann Grimmer, was a victim of Kinderheim 511, a kind of torture that made him unable to express any emotions, and his default is therefore to smile instead in order to appear pleasant and not to disturb others. He therefore chooses to spread joy into this world instead of hurting everyone else, a path that was chosen by Johann. And although he taints himself as a kind of monster that is unable to feel anything, he shows great compassion for others and puts anyone's lives before his own. He feels pain when others are in pain, which will make you fall in love with him immediately. This appears to be fascinating considering the conditions in which he grew up in, but also in comparison to Johann, who became a mass murderer. And yet, Grimmer claims to be less than humane, especially when he transitions into the magnificent Steiner, a persona that was established during his time in Kinderheim 511 after an experiment was conducted on him to see if Grimmer could develop a whole new persona, and this persona was therefore the magnificent Steiner. It resulted to the transformation of a person that starts to act out with violence when faced with a near-death situation. He therefore sees all this potential evilness in himself, and he cannot see himself as a true human being. He lacks emotions, he acts out in anger and hurts and even kills others, and in the end, Grimmer is also a persona he puts up in order to appear pleasant. But what Grimmer fails to grasp is that he always tries to do better no matter what evil he brought out into this world. He sees his mistakes, he sees in which areas he still struggles and tries to do better. He tries to move forward and become a better version, a better persona of Grimmer. And that in itself is a very human emotion, a very human act. And there's also the reason why his final scene hits really hard. He begins to cry while he's slowly dying, and he realizes that this humanness is still in him. He cries, which is an emotion that he couldn't express for a very long time, and he realizes that this pain that he felt throughout his life was never truly gone, but now he's able to show it, show his humanity. That was never truly gone, but just needed to be pushed forward with his realization that he also is a human being who deserves to be loved and treated well. And his crying, his sadness, is not really a sad thing. It is a sort of happiness that he expresses. He found himself again. He was able to meet his true self, able to become a human being again. Hey watchers, this is TheWatcher with another video. And Noga, and I think he deserves a video. He's very underappreciated, or maybe not, but he should be appreciated more no matter what, because he's great. And if you don't like him, why? Because you're wrong, and you should like him because he's great. He's very great, and oh my god, I'm not quite emotional as I said very often, but when he died, I was close. I was very close to cry because he was the best. He was so great. And of course, he had to die because he's too precious for this world and he deserves everything, but he's great. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video and yeah, see you next time. Bye!